Hello, it's Chris from My Stamp Lady. I'm here with this piece of cake see-through card, and it's available as a bundle right now through the end of May with a 10% discount when you purchase them together. So with this piece of cake bundle, I am going to be making this fun see-through card. So it's just a little piece of acetate, and I'll show you how I made this card. I am starting with a piece of the thick Whisper White. This measures 4 1/4 by 11 inches, scored at 5 1/2 inches. And this is my card base. I have this fold at 5 1/2 inches. I need 1 1/4 inches left at the top here so I can attach my acetate. So I line this up with 1 1/4 inches, and I've cut that off. And then this is what I'm going to be using, just a small flap to build my card. I'm also going to just cut 1 inch of the remaining part because I will need that for a base piece to place my acetate down on top of. So I can put away that trimmer. Okay, so here is my card base, and I just took that little piece out. One thing I'm going to do is work on my background, and I want this piece of In Color Lovely Lipstick designer paper is going to go right in there. So let's put some adhesive on the back here. And then I'm just lining that up with that little fold, and it's going to go right on the back. And this is what you're going to see through the back. Put that down. So this is what it looks like so far. Okay, next I can take, I just have used a piece of what used to be called the overhead projector plastic or acetate. I got it from an office supply store. I am going to place my adhesive down on this little flap at the top. And it is 4 1/4 by 5 1/4. It's slightly smaller than the length of my card, so I don't have to worry about it sticking out at the top or sticking out at the bottom. So I've just placed that down on the top there. Now that little piece that I cut off, I'm going to put the adhesive on the top of this piece here. And I want this top acetate part to line up with my base. So I am just going to line this up with the bottom of my back so that now I'm going to fold this over and place that down. And now that that's lined up, it will line up with the back of my card. So I have a front and a back. So this is your card base so far with the acetate and then the background. So for my top and bottom here, I didn't want to be able to see this adhesive and that coming through, so I've cut an additional piece of thick Whisper White. So I have 1 1/4 by 4 1/4 and 1 inch by 4 1/4. And I'm going to take the dynamic embossing folder and place, this is a scattered sequins one, and I'm going to run this through the Big Shop. So then when that comes out, you have a nice deep embossed piece. I want to add a little bit of color. So I'm bringing in my little spritzer box. In my Stampin' Spritzer, I have put pineapple punch refill and some of the rubbing alcohol. And so then I am just going to spritz pieces of embossed paper to get a little light pineapple punch color to them. And I'm going to set that aside and let that dry. Now I'm going to go on to that birthday cake piece, and with the layering ovals, this is a wonderful, one of my favorite die sets. I use it all the time. I have cut out 2 pineapple punch scalloped ovals, and then I have cut out one of the regular ovals with my Big Shot or my die cutting machine. So this is what I'm going to use to build my cupcake on. Since this is a photopolymer stamp set, I am going to bring in my Stampin' Pierce pad, and I'm going to be punching out this cake with this coordinating die. So when you have it backwards, you're going to notice that I'm going to punch out the cake stand up in this area, and then in the bottom will be the cake. I'm going to do the cake stand first. I'm using Memento Black ink because this is the best ink designed for the blends, which is what I'm going to use to color. So let's punch that out, line that up, and just stamped it and punch. And then I'm going to just repeat the same with the cake. I can cut this part off if I want. It helps to pay attention to which direction your punch is designed, and this way I have my cake facing up in the right direction. Okay, so I've lined that up, and actually, if you're really good about lining up, I actually have another platform, but you can also, because it's photopolymer, I can save this and just stamp on it later. Okay, so here's that oval I cut out, and I would like to stamp the birthday candles at the top. This is going to help me align my cake. So let's stamp those. I've put some adhesive on the back of the cake and the stand, and I'm going to place those down. Now these are the markers I'm going to use. I'm going to use the light Smoky Slate, the light Lovely Lipstick, light Mint Macaron, and the Pineapple Punch Stampin' Write, which is a water-based marker. I am not going to be doing any kind of blending, so I'm just going to go ahead, color it in, and then I'll come back because I'm just doing solid coloring. So there is my colored cake, and I didn't do any blending or anything tricky or fancy. I just colored it. So we will now mount this onto the Pineapple Punch scalloped oval. I'm going to be using the other scalloped oval to cover up the back so it'll have a neat, and I'll show you here, it'll have a neat back. So here are those pieces that I spritzed. One reason I like to spritz cardstock like that is because I like the unevenness it has. It has a nice uneven, feel to it. It's not solid, so it has a little more dimension. So I'm just putting those over my tape areas. So let's put that adhesive on there and put that down. And let's cover up. There we go. I have a 1/2 inch by 4 1/4 inch strip here. I'm going to place that just kind of right there for now and place this over it so that I can just get an idea where I would like to stamp that second part of my greeting, the one that says, count the good times, not the candles. So we're going to ink that up in Tuxedo Black. And because it's photopolymer, it's nice and easy to go up and down and stamp that. Then I have a piece here that I'm going to use the Lovely Lipstick for. Pull a little more of that darker color, the red, out to the front, and we'll just stamp that greeting on there. I made a similar card to this the other night, and my ladies really liked it, so I thought, well, I will come and show you guys too. Okay, so let's put some dimensionals on the back side of this. I want to pop it up, give it a little bit of dimension. I love using dimensionals just to give it that little bit of height. It really makes a big difference. And now we're placing this down. So far, everything's been on the cover. I am going to put some adhesive on this back strip, and then I am going to just slip this underneath, lining it up with the left side here. And then we'll place that right there. So that's actually underneath, so when you open up the card, you'll have that. This is going to hang off my card a little bit, so I don't want to put adhesive over that part that's going to kind of hang off. Otherwise, it'll stick down to the background. I kind of want it to be sticking off, but yet sticking up straight. I don't want it to go down. Okay, so now I have all of this together. This is a 1/8 inch Lovely Lipstick ribbon. I sometimes have a little bit of trouble with the 1/8 inch. It's just a little bit narrow and it doesn't want to tie as well. So one trick that I do is I'll take my reversible tweezers, and then I just tie a bow up here with the bows, leaving that tweezer holding that knot for me. And I find that helps me quite a bit when I do my bows. Then you can just remove it and then finish up your bow. So I think I should add a little bit of bling to this birthday card. So I've got some of my rhinestones, and we'll add just a little bit of shine to this. We like to sparkle and shine on birthdays. So I'm going to add this card to a playlist with some unique cards for you. So be sure to continue on watching those if you want some other ideas, and to subscribe. So we've added the bling, and now we want to hide. Don't forget this part. We don't want to look at the back side of those dimensionals. So here's where that other piece of scalloped paper comes in. We'll just line this up and cover up the back of those dimensionals.